Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups, and it's time for the weekly comic book review. That's right everybody, welcome to the weekly comic book review. It's the show I read a lot of comic books, or in this case, not quite a lot of comic books, and I'll let you know what I thought about them, because it is a very, very light week in the comic books because of the holiday this week. By the way, I hope you had a great Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that jazz. Hope you're getting geared up for the best 2019 you can possibly have. So a lot of light, slim pickings out there this week for comic books. We got some Marvel titles, some big Marvel titles. We got a few from some other companies. Virtually no DC Comics out this week though. So let's get right into it with the pick of the week. Fantastic Four number 5. This is what we've been waiting for since Dan Slott and Marvel has brought back Marvel's first family. This is a true celebration of the Fantastic Four. Everything clicks perfectly in this issue. This is a giant size $7.99, but worth every single penny of it in my opinion. Awesome comic book that does contain the wedding of Alicia Masters and Benjamin Grimm. Seriously, this is super, super fun. A great celebration of the Fantastic Four. It's got a few different stories in it, but ultimately all one story that really just carries the narrative all the way through. Really fun stuff. It's got sections in there with artwork by Aaron Kuder, my bad. It's got Adam Hughes and Michael Allred. The Michael Allred bits are some of my favorites. Definitely reflecting back to the classic Fantastic Four stuff from Kirby and Lee. I'm treating it with respect. Seriously, Mike Allred and Laura Allred, they are born to do the Fantastic Four. It's really cool stuff that does celebrate the love between Ben and Alicia. It celebrates the bond between the members of the Fantastic Four. It celebrates the history of this title. It celebrates the legacy of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. And it does it exceptionally well. Like I said, it's $7.99, but it's big. It appears, a lot of these big, $6.50 anniversary type things, it's a bunch of little short stories. They're disconnected. They're cute and they're fun, but not ultimately worth the $8 price tag. This is one giant story with some really cool framing sequences and a really fun narrative all the way throughout, and a great celebration of all things Fantastic Four. We just did a live stream for Festivus this last Sunday, and one of the grievances that Brooks aired was that as long as it took for Fantastic Four to come back, he felt like the book started off slow. And they were, I guess, getting ready to do this point, because this is the true celebration of the return and the legacy of the Fantastic Four. Pick of the week right there. Also from Marvel, we got X-Force number 1. This one's by Ed Brisson and Dylan Burnett. Dylan Burnett just blazed up the pages of Cosmic Ghost Rider, and he does a great job here with the artwork. A little bit of a tone clash, I think, at times with the really gritty aspects of Ed Brisson's script. This is X-Force, and X-Force fans of old, you're going to love it because a lot of your returning favorite characters, Shatterstar, Cannonball, Warpath, Domino, of course. This picks up directly off the ramifications of Ed Brisson's miniseries Extermination, in which Kid Cable came and killed Old Man Cable, right? So the Cable we knew and loved for the last couple decades or more, he's been killed, and now that Kid Cable is out there, so the X-Force are trying to find him, make him pay for his crimes, or at least maybe try to explain what's going on, things like that. So it's a really fun continuation of that story, a nice tribute to what X-Force is and what it stands for. It's great. The characterizations are there. I do think there's a little bit of a tone clash at times with the art and the writing. Other than that, though, I thought it was a really strong debut, especially for an X-Force book. I thought it was really, really strong, and I think you're really going to like it. Also this week, debuting Superior Spider-Man number 1 in a new ongoing series. Otto Octavius is once again the Superior Spider-Man, but this time he has all the Spider-Men, all the Spider-Women, all the Spider-People's blessings to blaze this new path forward as a hero, right? So he moves to a different town, and he's the Superior Spider-Man. So fans of the old school Superior Spider-Man, I think you're going to dig it. It's written by Christos Gage, and that's really cool, and he does a great job with the characters of rebuilding Otto's world. It's got great artwork by Mike Hawthorne on the pencils. Really cool stuff on the artwork. I really do like it. Great light layouts, great detail. The inking by Wade Badger is really, really fun. A really cool, fun story that's true to the character of Octavius as Superior Spider-Man. It's cool to see him go on this journey. This book, I don't think, is going to be as heavy or have as much ramifications as the previous Superior Spider-Man run, of course, because you don't have the whole aspect of him stealing Peter Parker's body actively. But it is a really fun continuation of that character, and if you like that book, I think you're going to enjoy this one. One thing I do have to say, though, is Christos Gage, you got to let go of the die-as-cast thing. Like back in the day, the die-as-cast line, it was super funny. It was always great, but now we're just using it too much. I think we just need to let it go a little bit. Pick a new catchphrase for Superior Spider-Man. And it's kind of cool because they do point that out in that issue, and I think he's even making that point. So kudos, hats off to you on that one. Uncanny X-Men number 7 is out this week because it's weekly. We're building up to the Age of X-Men and Logan and Cyclops having to return and lead a different and all-new team of X-Men. Does that storyline sound familiar? So we're building up into it. This issue spotlights those young X-Men and their kind of a revisit of the Age of Apocalypse. And it's always cool in X-Men books where we get to revisit a little bit of the Age of Apocalypse, at least for me. Though I will say it feels like this is a little bit of a lull in the story. Not as exciting as some of the previous chapters. It feels like, since we know the Age of X-Men is coming, and we know that Logan and Cyclops are going to form this new team, and all the other X-Men seem to be missing or seem to be off into the Age of X-Men, it seems like we can kind of piece together what's coming. Makes this stuff just feel a little insignificant. Though obviously it's a part to get us to the next part. But it is pretty decent. I have been liking this Uncanny X-Men story. I think this issue is just a little bit of a lull in the story. And since it's such a small week, I read this Marvel Action Avengers. I actually also grabbed the SpiderMan one that came out. These are great all ages books. If you got kids, or if you got like nephews or nieces, or just people that, you know, young readers that you want to get introduced into reading and into comic books, and they love these characters, really, really cool. If you like Into the Spider-Verse, this is pretty cool because it spotlights Peter Parker, Miles Morales, and Gwen Stacy, so that's really cool. And this is basically the movie version of the Avengers with a little bit of Captain Marvel thrown in, since she's now going to be one of the next big guns over at the MCU. So they're both really fun, action-packed, breezy, all-ages stories that stay true to the heart of the characters, but keep it a little closely connected to the movies, you know, but it's a great bridge from the movies into comics, into reading, into learning about these characters and heroism and things like that. So I definitely recommend those for younger readers especially. From Dark Horse Comics, we have Hellboy and the BPRD 1956. Mignola and company are ramping up this book. There are lots of things in the motions right now, lots of wheels being turned and things like that. So I really enjoyed this story. This is not going to be the book to turn you into a Hellboy fan, because this is we're kind of steeped into it now. But anytime there's a new Hellboy book, I just love it. Absolutely such a treat. Every time there's a new Hellboy book, I've really been liking this one. That's really fun. Big exposition issue, but setting up all the pieces, because everything that they've been building up to slowly is starting to really kind of gear up into high gear. Gear up into high gear. Anyway, Mars Attacks number 3 is here, and I really want to spotlight this book. This has been one of my favorite sleeper hits of the year. Kyle Starks and Chris Schweizer have taken Mars Attacks, which are usually just these silly little homages to that card series from the 60s, which is fun, and I love that card series, and I just love the movie and Mars Attacks and all that kind of stuff. It's just aliens just blowing people and animals away and stuff like that, right? Freezing them sometimes too. Great cover, by the way. Cover of the week, by the way, from Francisco Francavilla for me. Love it. My absolute favorite cover artists out there. Some great covers this week. Anyway, what they've done is they've taken an indie sensibility and applied it to Mars Attacks. So it still has everything that you've come to love and expect from Mars Attacks, with giant, crazy creatures and insects attacking and them just destroying people and just this giant Martian invasion. But what they're doing is they're telling this real small story as well about a father and son trying to understand each other and trying to understand why they couldn't understand each other. And it's really, really kind of touching in the midst of all this quirkiness going on in this Martian invasion. So if you're a Mars Attacks fan, it may not be what you're used to from a Mars Attacks comic, but I think this is exceptional. I think it's really good, and probably the best Mars Attacks comic since Mars Attacks Popeye, which in my opinion is the best Mars Attacks comic they ever did. GoBots number 2 is out this week from Tom Scioli, that guy right there, maybe Scioli. Scioli? I don't know how to correctly pronounce his last name. I should look that up. Anybody know? Let me know in the comments down below. But this is a real fun thing. I loved GoBots when I was a kid, so this is a nice little treat. His interpretation of GoBots. Look at that Kirby-esque artwork. Like I said this in the last video. It's like Jack Kirby's high school notebook drawings, right? I love the really small panels. I love the pace of this book. It's really weird. It's quirky. It's just, if you're not a GoBots fan, this isn't going to turn you into a GoBots fan. If you like quirky, crazy, independent, like indie-inspired books, check this out. Pretty cool. If you're a GoBots fan, you may respond to it like I did, because I love this book. I think it's really, really fun, really different, very out there, and just so much fun. I love it. Nice celebration of the GoBots. A little out there though. And let's finally talk about Maneaters. Number 4. Maneaters has been one of my favorite debuts of the year. I think it's been an amazing comic book. This is a nice little fun mock-up of a magazine called Catfight that's in-world in Maneaters. So it's filled with all these little articles and things like that. But ultimately, we don't really get a lot of new information. It does have all those quirky ads that we're used to. One of my favorite things about Maneaters is the trade dress. This is a world where once women start having their periods, they have the possibility of turning into a giant cat and killing people, right? So this kind of deals with, like, you know, the like social stigma put on women and periods and stuff like that, right? So it pokes fun at it. It makes fun of itself. It's tongue-in-cheek. It doesn't take itself too seriously, even though it could. It doesn't. Really fun stuff. So this is a cool book for that. However, on such a light week, it is a little disappointing because it doesn't really have a lot of new information. Maybe it introduces us to some new characters slightly if you pay attention to who's writing the articles or something like that. But it's a nice little fun treat for Maneaters fans, but in a light week, it's not enough of a meaty book to really sustain. But it is really, really fun. So that's what I read this week. That's what I thought about it. When you get to the shops, what did you read? What are you excited about? Let me know in the comments down below. And I want to know, what's your favorite comic book of 2018? Mine was Gideon Falls. Let's start the conversation in the comments down below. So thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for supporting this channel by watching, by liking, by subscribing. All that stuff is so awesome. We really do appreciate it. Be sure to join us at our Facebook group, the official Facebook group of Pop Culture Philosophers, the PCP Army. We have a lot of fun over there. So join us over there. You can check us out on Twitter at The PCP Show, or me personally on Twitter at The Rockin Robbie. We're also on lots of other different things, lots of links and all that stuff in the description down below, including links to our Patreon page, patreon.com/PCP, where you can help support this channel, t-shirts and all that stuff and more, all that in the descriptions. Thank you guys so much for helping grow this channel. You astound us absolutely all the time. It just blows us away. We're geared up to bring you some more fun content for 2019. As a thank you, we're going to keep doing what we're doing with the comic book reviews, with the movie reviews, and maybe some special treats here and there. Comics Revisited, top 5s, weekly comic book reviews, pop culture wrap-ups, all that and more coming in 2019. So thank you so much for your support of this channel and this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for reading. And yeah, keep on reading. That's what I was supposed to say. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, all that jazz. We'll see you soon.